That's the second time I try to record this video. In the first one, I got so much side fucking tracked that I ended up talking about soccer and knives. So yeah, don't think you want to see that. But if you do, I could put it out, man. Fuck it. I could, just post that shit. Anyway, let me get to the point before I get sidetracked again. I had my fair share of depression throughout my life. So yeah, it's something that I'm pretty much familiar with. Yeah, I know. It may be surprising. If you look at my face and if you look at how my room, it's pretty much organized. And if you see how well I'm doing in life, you probably won't get a glimpse of that. But yeah, man, I would have to take you to court and beat you into submission, metaphorically, just so you could believe that. Because I don't have any signs of that. No, I don't. Anyway, enough with the bullshit. I've been thinking about something that appears to make sense to me. I've been thinking about this, and I figured I had this since I was a child. So if I was like that way before everything I thought made me depressed in the first place, it means that, it's far greater than I could ever expect. Been depressed for such a long time. Everything that really happened to me that made me feel like made me depressed in the first place, it actually couldn't be the case because I was depressed before, right? So what happened, whatever the fuck happened to me after I was already depressed, it's just an excuse for it to beat me into submission, right? So these are just excuses for me to let it choke me into submission, really. That's what I've been thinking about. Let's be more pragmatic about it, shall we? Let's suppose that we're dealing with, rejection or a breakup. Yeah, a breakup is more usual, right? Let's say that a breakup really messed you for some reason and you crashed the fuck out in a way that, it messed up your life really, really bad. So you go to the brain doctor, right? Or you go to the emotion doctor, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Congratulations, you got yourself your own depression, right? And now you're like, well, I'm depressed. Might be because of the breakup. Might be. Who am I to say that it isn't, right? It has to be, right? Start thinking for yourself and you recall these moments when you were a child that, people mistreated you. Maybe you were a victim of bullying in school. Something like that. Or maybe it's a genetic thing. I've seen it happen. The thing is, you had it since you were a child, right? And now that you got to that conclusion, that you came to this conclusion, I had this since I was a child. What's the true meaning behind everything that you thought justified you, right? You thought you had depression and you thought you had difficulty in putting up with life. You thought that was hard just because, that breakup really messed up with me. And naturally, I can't deal with my life. Not in this state, so I gotta improve. Which is a good thing to think, but we both know that depression doesn't work like that. Depression is something like, well, that breakup really messed me up. I really didn't wish that happened. It was probably my fault, so I might as well just suffer. That's more like depression, isn't it? It sounds more like it. If depression was something meant really that you wanted to improve, nah, man, depression is really the biggest obstacle for you to improving, because deep down you either think you deserve to suffer or you just don't have the feel, the will, the power to do so, the energy to do so, because you're always exhausted. So you just discovered that this didn't really define you in the first place. You were already defined by it way back in the day. I'm not saying that wasn't traumatic. Of course it was. Of course it could be. It could leave a trauma that, it has to heal on its own. Maybe time will heal it, or I don't know. But that wasn't it, right? That didn't define you in the first place. You were already like that. you now just have a reason to be even more like that, right? To have your life engulfed by all these flames. You just had a bigger reason and a stronger one right now to beat yourself into submission. It was basically shame aligned with rage. They're always at the very top of my lungs, right? They're always right here, right in my tongue, ready for it to be unleashed. I've been depressed for way more than I thought I was. Way more time than I thought I was. Why I just did that? What was that really? Let me think of it for a second. What the fuck was that just now? It was shame. I felt ashamed for some reason, but I felt it. What else? I felt interrupted. I hate being interrupted. You just shouldn't be here. Not right now. You just shouldn't be in here. Not right now. That was what I thought, I guess. That doesn't make me in the right, really. I'm not in the right for doing that, but it just shows that I'm so embittered, right? I'm so embittered. I'm burning constantly. I have so much hatred inside of me, and I just unleash it. Anyway, so yeah, man, I just found another reason to choke me into submission. Depression it is. Yeah, even if it was a traumatic event, even if it did leave a scar in my heart or in my soul, even if it left a void. It left a void. So it wasn't just an excuse. It was more like an enforcement. Created much more weight to this. It just fed that void. Or maybe the void was always here, was always there, right? I just couldn't feel it aside from the episodic outbursts, right? But when that happened, it's just fed this void, and now it became a black hole of some sorts. And now I can feel it every time. I'll tell you what, that was a hell of a black hole. A hell of a black hole. A hell of a fucking black hole. Alright. So yeah, man, that's basically it. If I always had this, then those episodes doesn't really define it. That's pretty much it. Fuck, I lost track.